New York Congressman Nicole Malliotakis. She's a member of the Foreign Affairs and Transportation and Infrastructure Committees. Congresswoman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. Stunning numbers. 79% of Americans say that the country is on the wrong track. What is the impact of these kinds of numbers and this poll that continues underwater for President Biden?
Well, it should be a clear message to this administration and to the Democrats who, under one-party rule, have given us the worst inflation since I was in diapers. We have the highest record gas prices in a long time. In fact, they're pretty much double what they were when President Trump left office due to their anti-energy policies. We also have seen in Biden's first year the most police officers killed in the line of duty since 1995. People are strongly concerned about crime in addition to the economic worries that you mentioned. And of course, what we see is a wide open southern border by design by this administration. Again, dismantling all of President Trump's policies that have secured our border, was easing the flow of fentanyl and human trafficking, all dismantled by this administration on purpose. And that is really, I think, what's going to be on the ballot this November, these policies. And then don't forget the foreign affairs debacles, right? The disastrous withdrawal that led 13 American soldiers to be killed by a terrorist that was released from a prison on an air base that he decided to close before evacuating American citizens. And now you have the proxy war in Russia with Russia that was preventable if we had put in place those sanctions and provided equipment early on prior to this invasion. And so here we are in a very difficult situation, and what Americans are showing is that they're not happy with one-party Democrat control.
Well, it's bad policy resulting in bad outcomes, and yet this president continues to try to blame Trump. I mean, it's incredible. The White House is defending Biden's repeated attacks on Republicans, how this week he tried to make MAGA Republicans, ultra MAGA, a bad word. He said it repeatedly. Watch.
Let me tell you about this ultra MAGA agenda. It's the ultra MAGA agenda. Under my predecessor, the great MAGA king.
The president has obviously had a good time doing. People have asked, where did he come up with ultra MAGA? Where did he come up with, what did he call President Trump? Big MAGA? I don't know. The king of MAGA?
The president is not afraid to call out what he sees as extreme positions.
Congressman, no words here. Ultra MAGA, they're trying to say is extreme.
Well, look at this president's policies. Everything that they are doing is to not make America great. They are purposely destroying this country from within with their policies, whether they know it or not. What we're seeing at the southern border is a complete disaster. Think about it. We're being warned that there's a rise of potential terrorism in Afghanistan now because of his policies, and that the Taliban is back in control and ISIS-K is reemerging, and perhaps al-Qaeda too. And this president has a wide open southern border where we know there are people on the terrorist watch list who are crossing. We've caught a good number of them. But what about the 70,000 or 60,000 or so individuals that are the gotaways, that we don't know who they are? We don't know about their criminal history or their intent. That is what should be concerning the people of this great country right now. And the fact that the president is dismantling our energy independence, trying to make us like Europe, which Europe is now beholden to Russia for its energy needs. That's why they're in the situation they're in right now. We need to be energy independent. We have the ability to do so right here in America by just ramping up our domestic production. And once again, we see the president yesterday stop more leasing. So, you know, it's one policy after another, which makes you question, who is this president putting first? Because it's not the American people.
No, it is actually the illegal migrants coming over the Rio Grande River. The pictures from the southern border are just incredible. The agents in Texas seized $18 million worth of meth this week. It was being smuggled into Laredo, Texas on a Mexican truck. Biden, of course, is set to lift Title 42 in little over a week, Congresswoman. And you've got the most incredible pictures from the border this week. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people walking right in, blending into the population as many traffic drugs, including deadly fentanyl. When is this going to end?
Yep. Well, it's going to end, I believe, when we take back some Republican control here. We're at a disadvantage right now because Democrats control everything, right? So if we take back the House, one of the very first bills I believe that we will be passing in the House will be our Border Security Act, which would reinstate a lot of President Trump's policies. And also, we have to give our law enforcement the tools that they need to do their job, and that's part of what the Republican agenda is. When you look at what the DEA is saying, you know, fentanyl is the #1 killer, not COVID, of 18 to 45-year-old Americans. And why is the president not only not doing anything about it, but he's actually making it easier for the drug cartels? He's putting the drug cartels before the American people. That is what's occurring here. And it has to end. And when Republicans take back the House, we will be passing legislation that will address this issue.
Yep. You know, it's absolutely extraordinary that the media does not cover this. These pictures at the border are so incredible. CNN makes believe it's a news network because they send people to Ukraine. Not a word on what's going on at our own southern border, and not a word on the fentanyl that has killed 107,000 Americans in the last year, and the cocaine and the drugs that are coming across, and the people who are being smuggled in. Just shameful that we don't see any of this anywhere other than Fox. Nicole Malliotakis, thanks very much for weighing in on all of that. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break, and then we are zeroing in on crypto and the crisis